Posting the ad. Let's go. 10 seconds. Posting the link. Can I do it? Done. That's what we call a professional. 3, 2, 1. Someone in the chat said hot mic. Yeah, we know. We know it's a hot mic. Welcome into the show. It's Tuesday. Thank you for being here. We've got more Dr. Fauci bombshells that are coming to light, with Senators Ron Johnson and Rand Paul vowing to expose all of his missteps. Thankfully for them. Then President Trump signs an executive order to update the childhood vaccine schedule, and people are mad. Then Netflix paid a man to live in a 3-foot billboard for 3 days. All of that and more coming up on Scrolling with Hayley. But first, I want you to subscribe to this show. I want you to tell a friend about this show, and you can actually watch this show now on YouTube. Not live, right? Rumble's live, and then or are we streaming live on YouTube?
Oh, heck yeah, YouTube's live.
We're live on YouTube right now. So I love that. So welcome to everyone who might be watching on YouTube right now. So we are live on Rumble, of course, rumble.com/Hayley. Make sure that you subscribe to the Bongino Report channel. Make sure that you subscribe to the Bongino Report channel on YouTube as well. You can also watch on Spotify and listen on your favorite podcast platforms. I don't care how you watch or listen. All I care about is that you tell a friend and that you support our sponsors. Today, I'm telling you about the Chef Man. Most frozen drink makers either cost a fortune or they feel like a cheap seasonal gadget. The Chef Man Slush Ease Max delivers premium frozen drink performance without the premium price tag. It makes commercial-style slushies right on your countertop, and the best part is there's no ice needed. It has a built-in freezing system, so you just pour in your ingredients and let it do the work, which is great for me because my ice machine has been broken for probably the 7th time in, the last few months. I don't know what is going wrong. They've given me an entire new fridge. They gave me a new ice maker. It just broke yesterday, and I'm really over it. So anyway, I can still use my Chef Man, and I can make my frozen espresso martinis, my frozen margaritas, because I don't need ice for it. Plus, the large 90-ounce capacity means there's plenty to go around for family nights, parties, or backyard get-togethers. What I really like is that it's not just a novelty appliance. It's something that you can use year-round and skip those expensive frozen drink shop runs. You can make your frosé right at home. And if you've been thinking about getting a frozen drink machine, I think you'll be impressed with the Chef Man Slush Ease Max. It delivers great frozen drinks, easy to use, and it won't cost a fortune. Plus, you will save 25% off with my code SCROLL. Visit chefman.com and use promo code SCROLL. Again, that is chefman.com, promo code SCROLL. Make sure that you support them and put your phones on Do Not Disturb because the show starts right now. Alrighty, a new Dr. Fauci bombshell thanks to Senator Rand Paul and Senator Ron Johnson. So this is the post that Senator Ron Johnson put on X yesterday. New, Dr. Fauci was concerned in January 2021 that the second dose of the COVID shot theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. And he said, Senator Rand Paul and I released the texts between Anthony Fauci, Rochelle Walensky, and Vivek Murthy below. Well, I've been conducting oversight for years. Now that we have the documents and Fauci's government-issued phone, my investigation has only just begun. Well, thank goodness for that. So this is the text message that Dr. Fauci sent that's been making the rounds on X. It's caused a firestorm, as it should. This is what Dr. Fauci said. Quote, I asked around a bit more and another issue came up that you might need to be aware of. Since many people have significant cytokine storm after fever and after the second dose, this theoretically could be associated with the miscarriage in the first trimester. I probably pronounced that wrong, but I'm not a doctor. So I'm here to basically just make sure that you are mad about this. I don't know why women are not more angry about this. I'll get into my thoughts on this, but during the pandemic, and they were pushing the vaccine, I had a gut feeling that told me, wait. And my mom, I've been vaccinated with whatever childhood vaccines they were giving out in the 90s, I got them. But my mom, and that, what does that say about me? I don't know. I guess I'm okay. Depends on who you ask. But my mom is vaccine hesitant. She's not just, roll up your sleeve and get this thing. And I remember when I was like 12 years old, I remember being in the doctor's office and this doctor said to me, well, it's time for you to get your Gardasil shot or something. And it was for HPV, sexually transmitted disease. And my mom was like, she's 12. Why would she need that? And they're giving these shots to babies now. So it makes you think, why are these shots being pushed on kids so young? Why are shots being pushed on anyone really if it's not something like you're not guaranteed to get HPV? It's a sexually transmitted disease. So again, why are we pushing it on children? Their thing is get it into the kids young, then they become sexually active, then they're protected, whatever. Not necessary for children, but this is how it is. And I remembered my mom was like, well, this is a new vaccine. Why don't we just chill? Hold on for a second. Why don't we just wait and see how this pans out? And you can get it later on if you so choose or not. And you don't need it right now. So let's not get it right now. And I remember the doctor at the time was sort of just like, okay, that's fine. It wasn't pushy, but I remember they weren't thrilled that we weren't getting it. And I remembered that during COVID because I thought this is a new vaccine. It's a new shot. I don't necessarily want to roll up my sleeve for it. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know what's in it. They made it in warp speed, as they said. And I just didn't really want to be a guinea pig. I wanted other people to be the guinea pig. Sorry. I know that sounds messed up, but maybe inhumane, but I didn't want to be the guinea pig. If other people wanted to roll up their sleeves and get this emergency authorized use, whatever, fine, be my guest, but I don't want to do it. That's why I had an issue with the vaccine mandates. And when my friends started getting the vaccine and people that I knew, coworkers, family members, etc., I slowly started hearing these personal stories roll in. And I knew of 4 women, personally, whose period stopped after getting the COVID-19 vaccine. And I thought, well, that's enough for me to not want to get it because 4 people that I know of, that's a lot. Right? And this is just friends of friends of friends, word of mouth. I mean, how many women didn't get their period after the shot and I don't know about it, right? If I personally know 4 people, that was enough for me to decide not to do it for myself. And I had coworkers that told me just do it. It's really not that big of a deal. And so I tweeted about this and people were saying they had similar stories. I stopped getting my period or women who were menopausal said that I got my period again. And I knew that if the shot had any impact on the menstrual cycle, then I don't want it to impact my reproductive organs. And I'm not a doctor, but it just seemed like it made sense enough for me that if the shot could potentially take my period away. Well, I don't know how long that was. People were talking about the COVID-19 taking their sense of smell away, and it was months and months and months. And I was like, well, what if they never get it back? I don't know. And for some people, it came back. For some people, it didn't. Did that ever happen to you? Did you get COVID or what?
Yeah, I had COVID a couple times. Mine.
Yeah, I got COVID a couple times.
Yeah, it was pretty mild. I had mine was a bad sinus infection the first time, and then the second time was more of a mild flu, nothing crazy. I just always thought it was interesting.
Did you ever lose your sense of smell?
No, didn't really lose any. Well, I mean, I was so congested I couldn't smell, but it came right back.
It happened to me the second time. When I got COVID the first time, I was kind of down bad. I told the story that I was patient 0 at the Super Bowl in 2020. Oopsies. They sent me for work and I totally had COVID, but we didn't even know what COVID was at that time. So I was like, yeah, I feel kind of ill, but I guess, yeah, you got tickets to the Super Bowl? Yeah, I'm going to be there. It was 5th row.
My hometown also has a lot of private schools that have foreign exchange students. And it was ironic because it was an exceptionally bad flu season, December 2019, especially after Thanksgiving when all the foreign exchange students went home and then came back.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, we love that. So during this time, I figured I already had COVID. Why do I need this vaccine? I don't want to get it. So I didn't. And I have friends who have had miscarriages. I've had friends who had miscarriages, they were vaccinated. I have friends who had miscarriages, they were unvaccinated. So again, I'm not trying to make this claim that everyone who got the COVID vaccine is infertile now or sterile now. That's not the truth. And their babies are happy and healthy. So I don't want to fearmonger any more than is already happening. It's also very common for the first time you become pregnant for your body to sort of attack it because it's never had this foreign body, literally a foreign body in your body before, your immune system goes into attack mode. That happened to my friend. That's what her doctor told her. Hey, it's your first time. This is common. And a lot of my friends have had miscarriages the first time that they become pregnant. And it's a shame, and it is a shame, but it is not something to be ashamed of. It's very normal. But again, we're getting this information now that Dr. Fauci knew that in the first trimester, the strong immune response brought on by that second dose could terminate a pregnancy. Then later in 2021, he encouraged pregnant women to get vaccinated, saying that there were no red flags based on the 10 to 20,000 pregnant women who got jabbed under that emergency use authorization. People were, I remember Dr. Fauci saying that pregnancy, you got to be extra careful. It's high risk. It's all these, you got to not get COVID. You got to mask up. It's even more serious. So here is Dr. Fauci doing an interview with the What to Expect podcast about what pregnant women should do when it comes time to get the vaccine. Listen.
The overwhelming balance of risk benefit is in favor of pregnant women getting vaccinated against COVID-19. And the reason for that is, look at what we know for sure. What we know for sure, that if a pregnant woman gets infected and gets COVID-19, there are serious consequences for the pregnant woman herself, for the pregnancy, and for the fetus. Mm-hmm. If you look at it, preterm births, all kinds of complications that are exacerbated in a pregnant woman. Then you ask the question, well, are the vaccines safe? And if you look at the literally tens and tens and tens of thousands of women who have been followed by the CDC, who were vaccinated when they were pregnant, there's no indication whatsoever that there's any increase of any adverse issues in a pregnant woman who was vaccinated compared to a pregnant woman who wasn't vaccinated.
Someone in the chat said, Fauci, let me get my holy water. Everyone is calling him evil in the chat. So he said that it would be worse for pregnant women to get COVID than it would be for a pregnant woman to not get vaccinated. But as we know, the vaccine didn't prevent the spread of COVID-19. And he actually knew that too, but he told everyone that it was helping anyway. So you could get the COVID-19 vaccine and still get COVID while pregnant. I'm sure that happened to a ton of people. So based on Dr. Fauci's recommendations, taking the vaccine was more risky than not, based on what we know now. But it didn't fit the narrative that he and the CDC were trying to push. He sent that text to Rochelle Walensky at the CDC and Vivek Murthy in January of 2021. And the interview that you just saw was in August of 2021. So he knew that the vaccine could cause miscarriages. I'm not saying it totally does. I'm not saying it's 100%, but it could. And yet he still told pregnant women not to worry and to roll up their sleeves. Now, Alex Berenson has been sounding the alarm on the vaccines and the vaccine mandates for a very long time. He's an independent journalist that I respect a great deal. And Alex Berenson says that this is really a nothing burger. So this is what he wrote on X yesterday. The Fauci phone may have big revelations. This isn't one. The discussion of miscarriage is not like myocarditis, where the CDC, et cetera, scrambled to downplay a real risk. Here they're talking about a theoretical risk to monitor. Big studies show mRNA jabs do not cause miscarriage. He went on to say this: the mRNAs impact sperm count and menstrual cycles and thus short-term fertility. But huge national level databases show no impact on miscarriages or newborn health. I looked hard. It's not there. While it may not be as prevalent as the myocarditis threat, as he says, I still think it's totally effed up that Fauci was monitoring a potential miscarriage risk. And even though it didn't turn out to be that way, I know a lot of people are throwing out that 82% study that's saying it was 82% of women who miscarried got the COVID-19 vaccine. And I think people are taking those statistics out of context. I tend to trust Alex Berenson, like I said, a great deal, and I respect him. I still think it's messed up for Dr. Fauci to be monitoring a potential risk and then to tell pregnant women there is nothing to worry about, because the risk was never zero. And he was sounding the alarm about everything else. So why hide the truth on that thing? They were willing to lie to us basically throughout this entire pandemic, and that's what we're realizing. He also, this is what I find distressing, that in that interview clip from August of 2021, he said that the vaccine was safe for women who are pregnant, breastfeeding, and women trying to conceive. He says that everything is fine, but the vaccine was causing women to lose their period. So if you're trying to conceive and you lose your period, that doesn't work. The math is not mathing. You need your period in order to get pregnant. So if you're trying to conceive and all of a sudden you get the COVID-19 vaccine or second shot or booster or what have you, and then you don't get your period for 4 months or 6 months or for however long, that's how long you can't try to have a baby anymore. So to say that there is no risk in what Dr. Fauci said is also not true. I mean, he absolutely lied. And he boasted the COVID-19 vaccine as a way to protect your future child as well. Dr. Fauci said the baby would have antibodies, but if you got COVID naturally or you got the vaccine, wouldn't both cases be true? If the mom had already gotten COVID, wouldn't she and the baby already have natural antibodies? Therefore, you don't need to get the vaccine. But they pushed the vaccine anyway. And it just didn't seem like it was necessary, certainly not smart, to suggest for women trying to conceive if the mRNA vaccine is linked to menstrual cycle changes at all. And again, I'm not saying that the COVID-19 vaccine means you're automatically going to have a miscarriage or some kind of adverse reaction. I know a lot of people who got it and are fine. I also know a lot of people, and I've interviewed people with adverse vaccine reactions on this show. Both stories are important to highlight, both sides of the story. And again, a lot of my friends who got the COVID-19 vaccine, they got the vaccine because they had to for work. And a lot of my friends didn't want to. One of my friends, she has 2 beautiful baby boys right now, and they're happy and healthy. But she called me crying when she needed to get the vaccine for work because she couldn't afford to lose her job. And, you know, looking back, I'm glad that everything turned out well for her. But again, that's not always the case. So I thank goodness for everyone who has had a happy, healthy baby and a safe delivery and labor. But I'm grateful that's the norm, but my heart breaks for the people that don't get to say that. And there may be women reading this text from Dr. Fauci thinking, oh my gosh, I miscarried after getting the vaccine. I actually believe I saw Meghan McCain say that on X yesterday, saying that she had a miscarriage during COVID after getting the vaccine. There's probably no way of knowing whether it was linked to the vaccine or not, but now Meghan McCain and all these other women who probably experienced this are going to wonder. So to anyone who listened to the experts, I feel sorry for you. And it's not your fault that you were lied to. It's not your fault that you wanted to keep your job. It's not your fault that you wanted to see your sick or elderly family members. You did what these so-called experts told you to do. You can't beat yourself up for it. I thank God every day I was skeptical. I thank God every day I trusted my gut, despite people telling me it's not that big of a deal. Just get it. It's just a flu shot. It's safe and effective. It's all the things that you were telling everyone. I thank God I was protected from job loss and other pressures. I didn't have to worry about losing my job. By the time I left Fox News and I was getting my medical exemption and religious exemption and all these things, I ended up getting a job at Newsmax, and the CEO said, don't worry about getting the vaccine if you don't want it. And I felt so protected in that moment. I'm grateful, eternally grateful for that. And I know that not everyone gets to say that, and I feel truly lucky. I feel so sorry for people who didn't have the same experience. The people who lied to the American people need to face consequences. And I don't want an apology because it's too late for that, and they're liars anyway, and they'll never admit to their fault, but I want action. So I'm grateful for Senators Ron Johnson and Rand Paul. I hope that they expose Fauci for everything he is. I hope they read him to filth, and I hope that he is actually held accountable for these crimes. And the Trump administration has already made it a mission to revise the childhood vaccine schedule from about 70 shots to less than a dozen. And the diseases that HHS Secretary RFK Jr. recommends being vaccinated against still, despite being a vaccine skeptic and all the things that he is, he still recommends measles, mumps, rubella, polio, pertussis, tetanus, diphtheria, hemophilus, the pneumococcal disease, HPV, and chickenpox. And the measles, mumps, rubella vaccines have been a 3-in-1 MMR since the 1970s. And yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order saying they're going to reduce the amount of childhood vaccines and they will be recommended separately instead. This is what he said.
America's recommended more childhood vaccines than any peer nation, and even twice as many doses as some European countries, and even more than that. In many cases, we were requiring 72 jabs for our beautiful, healthy, lovely, delicate little children, including giving the hepatitis B shot to infants and newborns on top of many other vaccinations. The hepatitis B shouldn't be given until they're 14 or 15 years old. They were given early. Effective immediately, my administration is recognizing gold standard childhood vaccine recommendations for only 11 core vaccinations against the most serious and dangerous diseases, along with the MMR, which hopefully will be split up. You have the MMR, we want it in 3 separate vaccinations, given at separate times. Together, there could be a possibility they're quite lethal, and separately, it looks like they are not at all lethal, but just very effective.
Ira Flowers in the chat said, we'll be seeing the effects of this BS for the next 5 decades. And it really does make you think, you know, what we are going to see in the next few decades, because there are adverse reactions to vaccines that you see pretty immediately. I mean, there were instances of people dying within 2 days of getting the vaccine or the booster. And that's something immediate, that it's tangible and you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Who knows what we're going to be seeing in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. And then by then, will they have the wherewithal to be able to put it together that it was the COVID-19 vaccine? Will we be far enough removed from all of this hysteria around it where it's like so divided, like it's tribal almost, the people who are pro Dr. Fauci and pro vaccine and the people who aren't? And I wonder if people will ever see justice, you know?
I always found it so interesting that I watch an ad on Hulu for a medication that makes my foot not hurt, and they list off an infinite amount of side effects. And then this vaccine, we nailed it right away. No side effects, no nothing. I think it's going to take a really long time for people to figure out what those side effects are and then come to terms with believing in science again. It's just so disappointing.
Yeah.
Let alone what the actual effects are in generations to come.
Right. I mean, I think about this MMR vaccine. I mean, it's been this 3-in-1 for decades now. And now we're realizing very, very slowly but surely, this is the first administration that's ever attempted to tackle something like this because it's controversial. People don't want to feel like they did something wrong. People don't want to feel like there's poison in them. People don't want to feel like they did wrong by their children or made the wrong decision when it comes to their health. And again, I got the MMR vaccine. I'm fine-ish. I'm normal-ish. But in all seriousness, people are realizing that if you have certain genes or certain side effects to these vaccines, I mean, you could have an adverse reaction to this. It's not everyone, but it's enough where if a parent decides to spread this out, they should. So President Trump said that this MMR vaccine is lethal. And a reporter pushed him on the lethal comment, and he backtracked. He said, no, it's not lethal, but sort of went into what he meant. You know, parents questioning the amount of vaccines that are given to their kids, especially all at once. And now parents who still want to choose, they can choose to keep the MMR vaccine as it is. If you are a parent and you want that 3-in-1 MMR, you can still get that. But what they're doing is saying that it should be more readily available for parents and they shouldn't be shunned out of their pediatrician's office if the parent wants to get the measles and then wait a few months and then get the mumps vaccine and then wait a little and then get rubella, right? Like it doesn't have to be this 3-in-1 shot altogether. It doesn't have to be 70 shots within the first few months of life. It needs to be spread out. And I think that that's more than reasonable. More than reasonable. And again, parents shouldn't be forced to give their child MMR or measles, mumps, rubella separately anyway. It should be their choice. So I'm not really entirely sure why people are so mad about this, because it's not saying don't get the vaccine. It's saying get it if you want, But this is more about medical freedom than anything else. And Senator Bill Cassidy reacted to this, saying, "I'm a doctor. This executive order is wrong. The president does not have the expertise to make these changes. Vaccines are overwhelmingly safe. Vaccines are effective. Vaccines do not cause autism. Breaking up vaccines will mean children have to get more shots to get the same protection, not fewer shots." Yeah, we could do math, Bill Cassidy. Thanks so much. "It will increase hesitancy and make children less safe. Parents should listen to their child's pediatrician about vaccines rather than listening to an inaccurate executive order. This is so wrong." And what's so funny, because I feel like we hear this from the left more often, that people think that Trump is just like signing these things and he doesn't have anyone, guiding him at all. Obviously, there are people guiding President Trump as he's making these decisions. He's not a doctor, but I'm sure he has a team of doctors around him that are informing his decisions. And Bill Cassidy, by the way, takes hundreds of thousands of dollars from pharmaceutical companies. So this does not shock me. He was also defeated in the primary, so he doesn't care about being reelected. He doesn't care about backing Trump or pissing off Trump. And come January, he'll need to find a new job because he's not going to be a senator anymore. And I'm sure Big Pharma would love to have him in some capacity because he's clearly very willing to be a grifter for them. So hopefully he'll get hired somewhere else. I'm sure Pfizer would love to have him. Moderna would love to have him. But moving on now, there's an epidemic, right, of all of these retail shops going out of business, and particularly malls. People are not shopping in malls the way that they used to. And this was a while ago, but the LA Times did this piece saying that California's dead malls have become basically magnets for blight vandalism. And there are over 100 deserted malls in America. Not all of them are in California, of course, but aside from it being sad that a part of our childhoods are gone and a part of our culture has gone, society has changed and seemingly moved on and left retail in the dust. Not entirely, but people don't go to the mall like they used to.
I love a good bad mall.
Really?
Oh, when we were doing all 50 states, we would love to drop into the local mall and see what was still open and see how the vibes were.
It is odd to think, and I'm sure there's a reason for this, and I just don't really care to figure it out. But when you go to the mall, there are certain mall stores. Like you never see a Spencer's or an Annie Ann's or whatever anywhere else. It's just specifically in a mall.
Yeah,
I've never seen a standalone
part
Hollister.
of that is like Annie Ann's, for example, they never have their own standalone store, and I think that's part of their business model, and then they sign all these contracts to be in these malls.
Well, that stinks because now malls are dying. They could have had their own standalone shops.
Correct. It is very interesting to see the AI slop stores that are taking over the staples, and you can always tell, ooh, this used to be a Hollister, and now it's selling Live, Laugh, Love posters.
Right, just weird.
Oh, it's the best.
Garbage stuff, and I'm sure it doesn't, I don't know. So anyway, this is posing, the empty malls, for example, is posing a real issue in California because the abandoned buildings have become a hotbed for crime. So here are a few examples. Westminster Mall in Orange County closed in late October of 2025. Police say since the mall has closed, they have received over 400 calls to that mall. It's abandoned. 400 calls. They've made 30 arrests for trespassing and vandalism just at one mall. One mall. 400 calls, 30 arrests. The mall's not open.
There is a subsect community in the bowels of the interwebs that like going and exploring these abandoned
buildings.
So I would venture to say that like a third of the calls is probably that.
Trespassing.
And the rest is all nefarious.
Sure. Well, in California, a lot of homeless folks have moved into these abandoned buildings, as happens. I mean, this isn't just a California problem. You know, there's an abandoned house or something. Squatters go in there. Homeless people go in there. They want shelter. Okay, this is what happens. There are quite a few homeless people in California, though, so it makes sense. And with that comes drug use, illegal marijuana growth, Hawthorne Plaza, for example. These are all detailed in this LA Times article, but it's been abandoned since the late 90s, it says. And just this month, the city obtained a court injunction saying that the owners have to redevelop or demolish it by this month. They're like, there's so many issues. It's abandoned. There's crime. Get rid of it or fix it. But either way, like, it cannot remain the way that it is. It's a danger to the public, is what they're saying. Then in San Bernardino, the Carousel Mall had become a center for criminal activity, fires, and a shooting, and even an electrocution in the years after it closed in 2017. The mall was demolished in 2023. So there's been a conversation online about what to do with these abandoned buildings. Will mall culture be revived somehow? Because Gen Z, believe it or not, is more likely to shop retail now. They're leading retail shopping, which I think has something to do with getting your license and wanting to go places by yourself. I think there's something about a mall experience that screams, I just got my license, I'm picking up my bestie, we're going to go to the food court and we're going to eat Chinese food, and then we're going to go shopping, and then because we can. It
was safe out and about. You could go, you could be there with your parents, but not see your parents because it was so big. Oh, mall culture rocked.
Yeah. Let's go to a movie. Then we can go shopping. Then we can get food. It really is this catch-all of entertainment. And especially when you're younger, it makes sense. I know I was like this when I got my license. I wanted to just go do stuff because I could. You're telling me I can get in my car and drive somewhere? Yeah. That's why I went to Starbucks and I got drinks that I didn't need. And I went to go get ice cream. And so I think there's something to be said for younger people just, they're babysitting or they're mowing lawns or whatever. They have their jobs that are paying them just a little bit. They're still living under their parents' roofs. And they get to go spend their little extra money on fun stuff. And they get to go to the mall. It's a perfect place to spend your little babysitting money, in my opinion.
I miss the mall.
I do too.
I loved mall culture.
And I don't really like going to the mall now. But anyway, I think Gen Z is also more motivated to make up for pandemic lost time, where everything was shut down and now things are open again. And it's like, okay, let's go. Let's make up for lost time. We were staying inside. I think some people have turned completely agoraphobic, and then other people have sort of, I don't know, they're itching to get out. So I think that's another reason for it. I also think young people want to be influencers and they have to go do stuff for content. You can't be an agoraphobic person who sits in their house, and some people can, I guess, but most of the time it's come with me to Sephora, come with me to Zara, making a return, come with me to do this. I'm speaking more so for women, but women tend to be influencers more so than men. But anyway, someone on the internet, I tried to find this video and I couldn't find it, so I'm just going to explain it as best as I can. But this guy got on, because this is a larger conversation happening on TikTok, and he said, I think that malls should be revived, not in the way that they were, but malls should be more so a place for chores. Put all the doctor's offices, law offices, post offices in a one-stop shop. So when you have a few errands to run, it's all in one place. And then I agree with that, because then downtown areas can be more so used for entertainment purposes, restaurants, shopping, places that you walk into. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than going into a downtown area and there's like a law firm. This is a waste of space in a downtown area, in my opinion. It used to not be like that. Downtown areas used to be like this catch-all for chores. There was a post office, there was a law office. Things have changed now, where people don't even need to go to the post office as much anymore. I don't remember the last time I went to a post office. You could do most things online. Of course, they exist. You need to ship certain things. So it's important, but it doesn't need to be downtown. So that's my opinion on it. But here's how other TikTokers want those empty malls to be used. Watch.
You know how malls are kind of going extinct? Wouldn't it be cool if someone bought all of the abandoned malls and turned them into like rehoming facilities? I mean, think about it. You got all them rooms, a cafeteria with several restaurants, all set up ready to cook, a huge parking lot where you could tear up like half of it or 3/4 of it and make a sustainable food garden. You got electricity, bathrooms. I mean, I don't see why not. And everybody can just pitch in and help out and work their way up to getting out of houselessness. If I had money, that's what I would do.
The malls are dying. The malls are dying. The malls are dying. Replace them with gardens. Replace them with gardens. Let the plants take back the malls. Let the plants take back the Claire's and the Hollister and the food court. The malls are dying. The malls are dying.
what she said. Don't you think it's funny that these ideas are coming from these people? They've got weird hair. They've got the septum piercings. I mean, the first woman is like the epitome of what you think a leftist looks like. Green hair and a septum piercing. It's like,
they look like mall rats. They yearn for the malls.
They yearn for the malls. But I think it's funny. The first girl says that everyone can pitch in and help out. That's what she thinks is going to happen if they turn malls into, like, what did she call it? Like, what did she call it? It wasn't you know how they use these weird terms? Like, we just, normal people call them homeless people. And I think even homeless people would say, we don't care what you call us. But she said,
let me run it back.
I think she said
Malls are kinda
rehoming
going
facilities.
extinct. Wouldn't it be cool if someone bought all of the abandoned malls and turned them into like rehoming facilities?
Rehoming.
I mean, think about it. You got all them rooms.
Rehoming facilities.
Well, if we know anything about
So a homeless shelter.
yeah, and those get treated with such care and dignity.
Again, this is why, like, it's such an idealistic ideology. They think it's like sunshine and rainbows. They don't think of how it's going to get done or what it's actually going to be like. They just think, what a great idea. Everyone can work their way up and help out, and they can work in the community garden. Really?
Look at the abandoned malls now. Everyone could pitch in and make them nice.
Yeah,
if
and
they
nobody's
wanted to.
doing that.
No, they're electrocuting themselves.
And they're shooting people, and they're doing drugs, and they're growing weed, and they're doing all the... Yeah, the homeless people they're not really the most motivated in our society. So I don't really think that this is going to be like they're working their way up the corporate ladder in their rehoming facility in the mall. I just think it's so ridiculous. And the abandoned buildings, the abandoned malls are essentially already homeless shelters because the homeless people have already moved in, and it's not going well because of the drugs and the fires and the electrocutions and the shootings. But if society has moved on from malls, I think it could be a way to get people off the street. It's not a horrific idea if it could actually get done, and I don't think it can.
I've seen a lot of malls get turned into trampoline parks and large arcades, and that's about it.
Which is kind of like the same thing.
You ever been to a mall that's stuck in time? That's my favorite kind of mall, where you go in and they have all the old signage and haven't been remodeled in a long time.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 mall experience.
Yeah, because it's nostalgic for sure. But here's an unconventional housing option in California, although it doesn't fit very many people. This certainly isn't a solution for the homeless crisis. But Netflix put a man inside of a billboard located at the intersection of Sunset and Selma Avenue to promote their new thriller movie, The Last House. And the movie's out right now. It's essentially about a family that is stuck in their home and they're forced to work together to survive. They're running out of food, they're running out of water, and there's what they call a mysterious threat that traps them inside, which reminds me of something that we all went through in 2020. Doesn't it remind you of something being trapped inside with your family and having dwindling resources? Well, now it's a horror movie plot. We just got to live through it in 2020, but now it's like, haha, hee hee, let's make money off of this plot that was actually reality. Okay. So the actor is rumored to be making $75,000 to stay home, save lives for just 3 days. We had to do it for free for 15 days. Imagine that. But here's the billboard. Watch this.
A starring role on the big screen. It's the Hollywood dream. But in this case, the screen is a billboard above Sunset Boulevard. Inside a small enclosed space built to look like a home, a man waves and gazes down, surprising pedestrians and drivers.
I thought it was like an AI bot or something that was just like moving inside of the billboard. So when I stop, I'm like, is that a real? And then he starts waving. I'm like, that's a real person.
The billboard promotes a new Netflix sci-fi thriller called The Last House. The man in the billboard brings out smiles, waving at the people who stop and stare, dancing at times, and writing friendly messages.
I love the little signs. He's very playful. He's very interactive. So lots of fun.
The billboard has been attracting a lot of attention, many heading to Sunset Boulevard after seeing social media posts. There was only one way to interview the man attracting so much attention. We asked him about the view. His response, spectacular.
Guy up there, man. Ooh.
Numerous people stopping throughout the...
What's your reaction to this?
I love these.
I
Netflix
think this
crushes these.
I think this is so cool because I feel like in today's day and age, especially with AI, and people aren't really that creative anymore. And especially when it comes to advertising, especially when it comes to movie advertising, this gets people excited because it gets people talking, and they essentially brought the movie to the billboard.
And you think about like the old 90s advertising where they'd release a movie and there'd be cups and t-shirts and a sponge and all this like really niche items. And we don't get that anymore. And that was so fun. I think this is sort of bringing it back, like an experience.
And it's an experience, but it also gets everyone talking. It's shocking. It has this shock factor of, yeah, we put a guy in a billboard. There's a man living in this billboard. That's crazy. And the guy even said, that was being interviewed, he said, I thought it was an AI bot, but then I realized he's real. He's writing these messages to us. And yeah, I guess he's spending 3 days in there. It was a 3-day thing, which $75,000.
Feels like a pretty good trade to me.
I would do it.
A little dance.
What do you think he's eating in there?
They had to have stocked him up with some power bars and things along those lines.
Netflix says that it has air conditioning, of course. I mean, you can't put someone in a billboard and have them die. But multiple outlets have reached out to Netflix about the food situation, the bathroom, Wi-Fi, and other accommodations, and they haven't said anything. I don't think you need Wi-Fi to be up there for 3 days. You don't need Wi-Fi. That's not really that's not a necessity anymore.
People used to stand on street corners in bear costumes, spinning a sign in 100-degree temperatures. We've gone soft. We don't need Wi-Fi.
Right, that's what I mean.
Just
He's
maybe some
fine.
water and a slice of pizza.
Justin's great. Yeah, watch him die up there. Who
That's not
needs
what I
AC?
said.
No, you said he doesn't need Wi-Fi. I agree.
No Wi-Fi. Yeah, you
We've
gotta
lost
sell
the art
the
of
bit.
sign spinning. Nobody knows what a sign spinner is anymore.
There's a sign spinner out here by the oil change place. I've seen him
Yes.
every
Maybe
once in a
he
while.
should spin a sign on a billboard.
What's
Yeah.
the enthusiasm raking on that guy? Low?
It's not good.
That's tough.
I've never seen him out there sign spinning and thought I should get my oil change. So
You probably actually haven't thought to get your oil change, which you might need to check.
a light will come on when I need to.
All right.
'Cause
You're on it. You're on it.
A light came on last time and I took care of it.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Adulting. No, but in all seriousness, what would you miss the most if you were in this billboard for 3 days? What would you bring to entertain yourself? First of all, what do you think that they're getting in there? Do you think they're giving him new food, or it was like, hey, here's a bunch of water bottles, here's some granola bars, it's 3 days, figure it out?
If it's got power, definitely stocked up mini fridge. And I'm trying to think what cold eats. I'd venture to say there's no hot pot or anything like that.
Do you think Netflix has a security guard at the bottom of the billboard? Do you think that because people know that this guy is in there, they would be more willing to go up and, I don't know.
Maybe they just grease the ladder Looney Tunes style.
And then how is this man getting down?
They definitely got security. I would say maybe ramen. Maybe.
But how is he making it?
Some MREs or something, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Cold cuts.
People said lots of beer. But then
Uncrustables.
here's the thing. It's like 3 feet wide. Is there a bathroom in there? Like, if he does need to.
Gotta be.
But where? They put a bathroom in the. I mean, probably like a porta potty, but like where in this
Gotta be.
thing?
Hold on.
Okay, what would you miss the most? Let's get
For
away
3
from the
days?
logistics. Yeah, what would you miss for 3 days? Someone in the chat said start a pea corner.
Probably
So
hot
disgusting.
food, because I'm assuming there's no hot food. So I think I'd miss hot food, and I'm mildly addicted to my phone and texting. And I would assume you're not allowed to text.
I mean, why
For the
wouldn't
sake
you
of
be
the
able to
bit.
text? I mean, I guess he wouldn't be able to charge his phone.
Maybe. I think I'd miss my phone. I'd miss my wife.
Well, maybe you can bring your wife.
she would lose her mind.
That would be really...
That's like her worst nightmare.
Yeah, this would also be very cramped with 2 people in a 3-foot space. Yeah. I don't know. Someone in the chat said, I need to change my oil every 3,000 miles.
Seems
if
about
you
right.
drive a Ferrari. No, the answer is no.
That's what I thought.
I have an
like,
old
I
car.
don't
I have to
even...
change mine all the time or else I'll run out.
Oh, I don't even drive anywhere. I drive to work and back. So I don't know. My car's not getting used that much. So this is the second video. It just kind of shows. I wanted to show you guys this because it shows kind of the different angle of this so you could see how much it comes out and how much room he actually has. But it's tight in there for sure. It's a small space.
I would do it for the paycheck though.
Me too.
The ROI there is pretty solid.
Absolutely. Me too. Anyway, I just thought that was fun. Fun idea. It's honestly, I've heard not so great reviews about the movie. I've heard that it's like, but I would watch it.
Does feel like a Mr. Beast challenge a little bit.
Just, yeah.
It reminds me of, was it Bird Box that they released before?
It's a lot
Very
of these
similar.
like pandemic inspired, The Quiet Place, like staying inside your house. There was another one on, I think it was called Netflix. I forget what it was called, but the woman in the house was deaf. And the guy stalking her outside the house. And
is that Hush?
Hush. I think it was called Hush, right?
Nailed it.
But it's like Hush, the silent Quiet Place, Bird Box, all like, it's always like the sense, like you're stuck somewhere, there's crazy people outside, and there's some weird thing with the senses. It's sort of this trope now, I guess.
Turns out he's allowed to get out of the billboard if he's protesting something leftist. So they'll let him out to do a little protesting in between.
He can just protest from in there. He could write a sign and just...
True to COVID.
He would probably, he would probably get more attention on it. Anyway, this was I wanted to cover this flock thing yesterday, but we didn't get to it, so I want to do it today. And I was explaining how anytime I cover something on the show, my favorite listening device is my phone, and it's sitting right here during the show. It is on Do Not Disturb, but it is listening to me, of course, at all times. And every time I talk about something, then when I turn my phone back on and I'm scrolling on my preferred social media platform, I'm getting fed all these great videos that I wish I could cover, or I wish I could have covered on the show that day. Anyway, we're reviving the flock conversation because once I did that show on Friday, I got so many other videos. So this guy is showing how the flock cameras, if you're unaware of what the flock cameras are, they are these security cameras. It's a privately owned company, Flock Safety, and local governments and HOAs are basically having contracts with this company, and they are surveilling us, essentially. And law enforcement says that this is wonderful, this is fighting crime, and they're using it to track your license plates and whatnot, and this is helping. But people have surveillance state concerns as well. And now Flock Safety doesn't just have the license plate reader type cameras or sensors. They have these other ones called, I think, what is it? Condor, I think it was called. It was like another bird name or something. But it is these different kind of trackers that basically track human movements. So here's what that looks like.
All right, these flock cameras, they're not tracking just cars. So I found some tag readers at the old police department I worked at that are apparently tracking pedestrians as you walk. Let's go check this out. It's crazy. So in this park right here, there's a flock camera up there pumping out IR. And then there's another one over here within like, I don't know, 150 feet of each other. There's one there and one there. They're not tracking just cars. I'm gonna show you. See how it's starting to flash right there when I'm walking towards it? They're taking pictures of faces because there's not a car in sight. And if I'm not moving, watch what it does. Watch what it does when I'm not moving. So watch what happens when I start, oh, there it goes. I started moving. It's tracking. So there's no car in sight. There's nothing in sight. And the reason why I'm saying that is if you look, so let's see if it goes off when this car goes by. See nothing. But if you look there, underneath that, now it's firing off. There's a radar, and it's pointing in the same direction that the camera's going. If radar was to be utilized for traffic coming this way, it would obviously be pointing this way. So you can see it there if I zoom in a little bit.
All right, we can pull out of this. So, you were making a face. What did you want to say?
You could see my
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm confused why I guess I get why the flock is getting so much hate, but to me it's not that much different than the Ring cameras.
But
the more I learn about it,
where do people put Ring cameras?
on their own homes for sure.
Right. So this is like a Ring camera, sure, but it's the government contracting with flock safety, and they're putting these cameras seemingly right next to each other. Like if one is right there and this is supposed to be for crime fighting, then why do you need one right there? Like if someone committed a murder right there, wouldn't the camera have gotten this person going that way or this way?
I
don't know.
I know. That's my problem. I feel like the head of flock, or they need to do a better not let their head guy come out and say it's terrorism to take them. They need to explain how these things are working, explain the sensors, explain that these places are purchasing on their own dime. They're using them as them as just general security cameras, no different than you would anything else. I would assume. I know with
people aren't going to, this is the thing though. Even if law enforcement, because I understand why they would want these. I understand.
No
this
doubt.
would obviously make crime fighting extremely easy. If you're looking for, again, an Amber Alert, a Silver Alert, there's someone missing in a car, you can plug in the license plate number and it tells you exactly where they are. But I haven't really seen very many headlines being like flock saved the day.
You don't see very many headlines like that anyway. I am so on the fence on this one.
I am too. So I want your thoughts on this one, because this guy says that a flock camera has been put up on the golf course and these guys are walking past it. Watch. Can't even shank the ball in peace anymore. So it's like the flock camera's right on the green. And they're nowhere near the road. So what license plates would they be scanning? It's not. It's facing the players. And then maybe they're concerned about people peeing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what crimes are being committed on the golf course?
Trespassing. I would assume it's for trespassing at night.
Maybe.
That's why I can devil's advocate for. I know that. Let's say you own a restaurant and you want to set up 24/7 security. The storage for your security, you can only keep X amount of days, and then by the time something bad happens and the police show up, your footage is probably deleted because you can, unless you have these huge terabytes of storage. I think Flock is preying on that problem and saying you can store it in our cloud, we'll have access to it, and it's solving a lot of these businesses' security footage issues.
Well, apparently Flock keeps the camera footage for 30 days and then it deletes, I guess. That's what they're saying. Who knows, right? But someone commented on the golf video and said it's going to track your consumed beers and then pull you over on the way home, which I thought is kind of a good point. I mean, because what I was trying to rack my brain and think of the crimes that are being committed on the golf course. And again, is the golf course going to actually do this? I don't think so, but it could.
Guess in theory. I mean, the other thing...
Or let's say someone gets drunk on the golf course, drives home, kills someone. Will the cops then pull that footage of the guy drinking and then used in court?
So.
Right, so...
And so, yeah... As we've yapped about it, because I feel like we have this conversation daily, I think the key is who decides what's right and wrong.
Right. And, someone else commented, it's just a license plate reader in the middle of a place with zero traffic. And someone said, it's for your safety, though. You never know when a stolen car is going to drive through the golf course. And then someone else said Republicans voted for mass surveillance and to have nothing, and look what we live in now. I don't really see tons of Republicans being pro or even neutral on Flock. I feel like I'm seeing mostly people being anti, especially because conservatives don't like being censored and they don't like being followed and tracked, and they don't like being controlled. So we didn't like contact tracing during the pandemic. So why would we like this? So I don't think that that's necessarily true. Although I know some Republicans are pro it because of the crime fighting aspect, and I can understand that. Like I said, I was on Newsmax on Carl Higby's show last Wednesday, and the guest that I was on with said, I think it's fine, just behave yourself, and then it's not a problem. But yeah, it's not a problem now until it starts going south, and then it is a problem. So that's what people are warning about. It's not that it's a problem right now, it's that it's a potential problem. And now this next flock camera is facing a gym.
I realize
Watch
what
this.
it is. There's a man.
Yes, because Flock needs to
Back
see us
of this
bending
place.
over and monitor the weight we can lift, it says. And someone commented on that, you were randomly selected to get drafted, which is just obviously funny because if all things go south and Flock is really being misused and abused, could the government be searching out for some draft prospects?
Hey, Kyle, saw you deadlifted 480 the other day.
Hey, mind yeah. So anyway, this Flock camera is facing a splash pad known for kids. Watch.
Literally, why does Anna have a Flock camera? Literally facing a kids splash pad. I mean, it's literally right here outside the gate. I just don't.
Right. So again, could this be the splash pad place getting a Flock camera and putting it there because they want it for their safety purposes? Sure. Could this footage be hacked by an evildoer who wants to see children in bathing suits? Possibly. We showed on Friday's show the YouTuber that has done a deep dive on this and exposed how easy it is to hack into these Flock systems in the back end and see these live streams essentially. So it's not impossible. And we know now, this was a story from probably, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Flock employees accessed the cameras in a children's gym and pool area to pitch surveillance tech. So it says this, Flock safety workers accessed cameras in a children's spaces at the Marcus Jewish Community Center as part of sales demonstrations. Despite learning about these intrusions, Dunwoody City Council renewed their surveillance contract with Flock anyway on July 23rd, so this was a few weeks ago. Flock's Randy Gluck viewed cameras labeled Gym, Mendel 1, and Main Pool Right. And on September 30th, Vice President of Flock, Bob Carter, accessed the gymnastics camera. And these were basically done for Flock employees to show the surveillance capabilities to sell to prospective police department clients. So they brought in police departments or they went to police departments and they're saying, hey, you really need these Flock cameras. They're great. Look, you can look at kids here. Not that they're looking at kids, they could be, but specifically it's like, hey, you can use this. Look at this, this building that uses us. They're a client of ours. Look how we can tap into their system. That's really strange. I think, and Flock has since come out, the CEO, Garrett Langley, said he apologized and said that this was poor judgment, and they agreed to stop using Dunwoody footage for demonstrations. But that means, so if this one children's center says, hey, we didn't really love that you were peeking in on kids in the pool, can you not do that anymore? And then Flock says yes, what do you think they're going to do for the next sales demonstration? They're just going to use another one of their clients' footage. Or my thing is, why can't they come up with staged footage? Why can't they use the Flock cameras? It's real Flock footage, but why can't they have themselves walking back and forth and, hey, you can track it here. Here's a camera that we put up. We set up this route, and this is how you can track people.
Yeah, shouts out to Flock for having the oddest PR campaign I've ever seen in the entirety of my life.
We were peeking in on children, sorry. We won't do it again. We'll do it with someone else.
It was a lapse of judgment. Should have picked a different place. We were going to go to McDonald's on 4th. Sorry.
It's crazy. And it's like you can't stage footage for a demonstration if you want to demonstrate. I mean, this also demonstrates how sickos can use this footage for nefarious intent, which we've seen. There are over 50 police officers have been caught for using this footage and abusing this footage in some way, where they want to track a former ex or something like that, or their spouse. And again, those people have been held accountable, but how many people have not been held accountable so far? So that's a problem. Anyway, people are now cutting down these flock cameras and they keep popping up. Watch this.
No. What?
No.
It says somebody cut down a flock camera and 2 grew in its place. This is another thing. This looks like it's in an intersection, sort of one of those triangular intersections. To have 2 flock cameras there is like probably stupid. Why can't they put one going this way and one going this way?
PR nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre. This whole thing is bizarre. The AI data centers keep popping up because these are AI powered, and we can get into that tomorrow, but I'm interested to see what you all think about this. Someone in the chat said your phone is way worse than the flock. I agree. I've got a flock camera right here, and it's tracking everything that I say. I said this in the beginning of the segment. This is tracking everything I say, which is why when I go to scroll on my phone later, I'm going to get more flock camera video content because this is what I'm talking about, and my phone is listening to me at all times. I do have my location turned off, but you also need location turned on to use things like the map and certain things on your phone. So yeah, we're just being tracked all the time. And that's the name of the game these days. But thank you for scrolling along with me today. You can follow me on social media at Hayley Carania, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.